my name's Rachel. Welcome back to another plant channel. So if you're new here, I'd love it if you take a second just to click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any planty content. That being said, let's get right into today's video. So today I want to share with you my top 10 items that make caring for plants easier. So these are all just random items that I find having them makes it a lot easier to get my plant care done, and we're just going to get right into it. Okay, so hands down, number one, and this is probably the only one I'm going to put in order, the rest will just be random, but number one is this little mini vacuum, and I got this on Amazon. I will include a link to my storefront, and all this stuff will be in it. So this is just a little handheld vacuum. This end is the vacuum, this end blows, so you can dust things off also if you want. It's got multiple attachments. And while I talk about this, I'm gonna go ahead and put some B-roll footage in here just to show you me tidying some things up. So the little attachment with the bristles, this one works great if you're gonna clean up painted areas or kitchen countertops because it won't scratch. The plastic nozzle I like for getting into small areas like on my windowsill, and it has just come in so handy. I've only had this now probably about 3 weeks, and I find myself using it almost every day just to clean up small messes. Now, do keep in mind that this is just for small cleanups. This isn't something you're gonna go and clean like your car with or something, but for cleaning up little spills of soil, or if there's fungus gnats, like a dead one, you know, it just gets into small spots, cleans things up easily, and like I said, this attachment makes it so that it doesn't scratch your countertops, because I've tried using a dust buster and I felt like that wasn't safe. So this thing is great, and it charges by USB. My next item, and this is the one I actually use, is an apron. So you can see that this has been through it, but I just find that having an apron for a few reasons. Obviously, it keeps my clothes clean, but also it kind of makes you feel like you're doing a task, almost like a uniform for a job, and it just kind of makes things easier. You've got pockets so you can keep like your scissors in it or something. If my hands get wet, I can wipe them on here. And this is just one that I picked up at TJ Maxx. I did happen to find a plant one. It's by the brand Simply Whimsical. I don't know if they still sell it on their website, but if you're interested in looking. But yeah, I find a plant apron to be really helpful. Next item is plant Velcro, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that this one is actually the Velcro brand. You can see I don't like this one. I liked the one I got that was non-name brand, and that's because this one has its name printed every single time around the roll. So I find myself cutting that out, because the point of this is to kind of conceal the fact that you're staking stems up and stuff. It blends and it doesn't look out of place, and then having that logo on there kind of bothers me. So you can see as it unwraps each time it has it, so I end up cutting it out, which is going to be a lot of waste. So the brand I had previously to this, or the one I had previously to this, wasn't branded, and I would say if you can find one that's not branded, if that bothers you, it bothers me. It might not bother other people. So there's that. Okay, next is clear pots. So I find these super helpful. I use either these or terracotta because it makes it a lot easier to not overwater. So I have just 2 different sizes here. I don't have any of the in-between ones right now. I actually ordered more from Amazon, but they have a lot of air holes, so your soil gets air all around instead of just at the bottom. And then it's also so much easier to see when your soil is starting to get dry. And I'm gonna grab this plant here behind me that I'm propagating. I just moved it into soil and I just watered it last night, so you can see how it looks when it's dark. And then as the soil starts to dry, you'll see it pull away from the sides a little and it will not be as dark. So it's a really good visual. Now, I do like to put these inside of cache pots. It makes it a lot easier to swap stuff out when you want to decorate. You know, if you get a new basket that you love, you don't have to repot things. You can just swap things around. Okay, next is my watering can, and I chose this one here from IKEA. This is the one, I have a bunch of others, but this is the only one I ever end up using, and there's a few reasons why. So first off, the size is perfect. It's almost a quart, which works perfectly for my fertilizing measurements. Secondly, being only a quart, it's really easy to handle. It's not like one of those huge green watering jugs that's heavy to pour, where you're going to end up splashing water everywhere. So it's easy to do that. And then the fact that it has this small skinny nozzle means that you get a really concentrated area where you pour it, so you're not getting the leaves wet. You can just work on the top of the soil. And this is called, the name is not on it, but I'm pretty sure it was called the Vattencross. And I don't know if it's available online. If it is, I will put a link. But if not, I'm sure there's other similar ones. What to look for would be a skinny spout and a small, easy to control size, so that you're not having to use two hands and you're not splashing everywhere. Really easy to use. All right, next up is a little tool kit that I bought on Amazon. And I've got a couple of the pieces here with me. So it's basically like a cactus tool kit, I think is what it was marketed as when I bought it. And it came with a soil scoop and this, which is mainly why I bought it. So this is like, it reminds me actually of like a nasal aspirator, basically. You could probably put your own kit together, but the price of the pre-made one on Amazon is cheaper than buying all the components. So you get the soil scoop, which really comes in handy with repotting. This is great if you're a cactus person, because it lets you get any dust or any of the extra potting soil off of the plants, and it does it really easily. It also came with one of these little guys, and I use this all the time when I'm repotting like cuttings or propagations that I have in there. And you know, I just realized today that it has measurements on it. I've had this thing like 4 years. But basically it's just, you know, you stick it down in the soil, it makes a hole. So it's got the thinner end and then it's got the thicker end depending on what size cutting I'm using. And then it also came with a couple pairs of tweezers, but I like these ones with the angled end. These are really good for picking things like with my cacti. If perlite washes up through the top dressing, I can easily pick it off without getting poked by my cacti. And it's just a weak tweezer. It's one that you wouldn't actually use for beauty because it's not strong enough, but it's perfect for plant care. And then as you're accumulating all these tools, you need something good to hold them. This is what I picked, and this one probably isn't available anymore. This is from the Target Dollar Spot. It was $5. It was a cleaning caddy. But now that it's becoming close to back to school time, I think that there'll be a whole bunch of like shower caddies or different things that you could find and repurpose, which is what I did. So I just stuck some stickers on it to make it cute. And this is where I keep all like the random tools that I use. Paint brushes that I use for dusting, string, my rooting hormone, everything that I use is in here. And it makes it really easy just to have it all in one spot. So another thing that I keep in that caddy that I would recommend, and hear me out on this, is a moisture meter. So I don't 100% rely on this. I like to have this as like a general kind of like a starting point. So I find that this works a lot better in soil mixtures that don't have bark. As you start to get the aroid mixes that are really chunky, this doesn't seem to read moisture as well in them, so beware of that. Because as I changed my soils and added more bark and more charcoal and larger, chunkier pieces, it would always read dry. And the way they work is it's like electrical conductivity. Somehow it tells whether there's moisture in the soil. So I think that the chunkiness throws that off. But that being said, it's also a good thing because once you stick it down and pull it out, you can pull the dirt off of it, and then you can manually feel the dirt and see, is it wet? Do I need to really water? So I like having one of these on hand to kind of, you know, plants that are deep also, it's a lot easier than trying to, you can only get about 2 inches in, where this you can get that far down. And then what else was I going to say about this? This one here, you can see it has about 10 settings. I do have another one here that has only 4. I find them kind of interchangeable. I don't really know if I prefer one over the other. I do like the looks of this one better. So if this is still available, this was from Classy Casita. I will put this in my Amazon store as well. If not, I'll put something similar. All right, we're down to the final two. Now, I think I'll just go to scissors. So it's important, I think, to have a good pair of scissors. Yes, you could use your house scissors, but I feel like having scissors dedicated to the task that are only my plant scissors makes them more special. These I just picked up at Target. They're from that Hilton Carter brand. They are a good choice. I also have a couple of the IKEA ones. They come out with different colored handles like every year. So I have them in this blue color. I have a red one. I have a tan one. And I think these are like $1 or $2 when you go to the store. You could even just buy a pair of regular craft scissors and just keep them separate. But I feel like having a pair dedicated just to my plant stuff makes it a little more special. So I definitely recommend that. And then finally, I'm going to show you two different misters that I like because I feel like it's important to have a spray bottle. I'm not a leaf mister because I found that once I stopped doing that, my calathea leaves weren't browning as much, so I think I was creating fungal issues, so I stopped misting like that. But I do have a terrarium that requires misting, and I do mist when I have a new leaf unfurling. I'll mist just that leaf to kind of ease it out. So this is the first one, and this is one of those continuous misters where you just press this a few times and it creates the spray. And I like this for misting the leaves for like small jobs that I just need a little bit of spray. This one here is a USB battery powered one, and I saw Daya using this. I will link her channel below too. But as soon as I saw her using it, I was like, I have to have that. So I went on Amazon and I found one, and basically what you do, you just hold the nozzle in for a few seconds and this will spray nonstop. So you don't have to do any, you don't have to keep manually pumping it or anything. It just sprays. And depending on how you twist the nozzle here, you can use this. I love to use this to water my terrarium because I would be using one like this forever. This gets it done maybe like 30 seconds. This is also really good for showering plants or rinsing them off. So I'll just step out on my back porch with whatever plant, and this is just as good as rinsing them off in the shower, but it's so much easier to let them dry outside in the summer for like 5-10 minutes before I bring them back in. And this is also great for pest treatments. It's great when you have like spider mites or something like that and you want to try and manually remove them before you do any type of chemical treatments. So this is really good for that too. So I will also link this in my Amazon store. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my top 10 planty tools that I like to have to make my routine easier. Like I said, anything that I've showed today, I'll try and include in my Amazon store. I'll leave the link below. I will link the channels that I talked about, anything like that. I want to thank you for watching. Take a moment to like and subscribe and leave a comment if you have any questions or you just want to chat. And I will see you in the next video.